Hello, welcome to VUSM 100 Online, Summer 2014. In an attempt to give you a little bit of an overview each week, I will be sending out videos, and these videos will just be basically a summary of kind of what we should be talking about, thinking about regarding this course. Remember that VUSM 100 is part of the Mission Seminar Series here at Viterbo. We have 4, and it's an attempt by the university to rather than have specific religious courses required by students, that they should be broadening their thinking based on the Franciscan values, those values of contemplation, integrity, hospitality, service, and stewardship. That's really what this 100 level course focuses on. The others then are on serving the common good, living an ethical life, things of that nature, and living in a diverse world. But the 100 course, again, is specifically to look at the Franciscan values, why Viterbo University believes that those 5 tenets of service, hospitality, integrity, contemplation, and stewardship are important. And every student's required to take it. Most of the professors teach one section once in a while, and they teach it through their lens. My lens is marketing. I'm a marketing professor. That doesn't mean you need to know anything about marketing. I will keep it very simple when we relate it to business/marketing. And we all live in a business world anyway, so it doesn't really require you to have any content knowledge specific to that. So with that said, week 1 really is an introduction into the beginning of St. Francis's life. And if we look at St. Francis, and again, why would you say this is important? Because Viterbo was founded by the Sisters of Perpetual Adoration, who took the teachings of St. Francis, St. Clare, also of Assisi, and then St. Rose of Viterbo, all in Italy, and brought them to the United States and formed Viterbo University in the late 1800s. Viterbo is committed to the mission of the sisters and what they believe, though you don't have to believe it. You don't necessarily need to even buy into any of the Christian values per se, or Catholicism, but certainly the 5 components that we'll discuss that are the Franciscan values are based on certainly are universal, but again could be questioned, and that's the whole point of this course, is for you to think about those things and how they fit, and how they hopefully will make you a more enlightened learner when you get done with whatever program it is here at Viterbo University. So again, the beginning 3 chapters of the book are really looking at St. Francis's life in the beginning. He's from Assisi. Assisi is on the east side of the peninsula of Italy. On the northern side, it's about a 2.5-hour drive from Rome, if you're looking at the map. And it's in the region called the Umbria region, and in that region, it's relatively flat with meadows and fields and farmland, and then it becomes a bit hilly. And Assisi is basically, the city is up on top of a hill from the flat part. Actually, it's much like the Cooley region. I've been there, and it looks very similar to the area where we live. At the time, the medieval times, when St. Francis, who was a historical figure, you don't necessarily need to buy into him being a saint, but he clearly was a human being that existed as a historical figure. You need to understand the context of what was happening during that time of St. Francis's life in the medieval times. It was still basically almost a caste system. In fact, in Assisi, the people of wealth always lived on the top of the hill, because any waste, including human, was always thrown out the window and ran downhill. So the poorest of the poor always either lived outside the city gates or at the bottom of the hill, and that's where all the refuse and the waste would go. So the higher your status, the richer you were, the higher on the hill you lived. And St. Francis' family, his dad was a merchant, a linen merchant, came from some means, and grew up, you could argue, spoiled. He was athletic, he was good looking, and he came from wealth, and he had privilege. And St. Francis certainly took advantage of that. He was basically, in our context, the cool kid in high school who was involved in all the sports and got all the advantages and all the breaks. that the other kids didn't have. And he knew that, and I think felt guilty a bit. His mother, Pika, was a main influence in his life. She was the main driving force of his faith through her Catholic religion. St. Francis's dad was rarely around. He was traveling a lot doing business, so he kind of grew up on his own and or through his mother's influence. And so he always had this tug of guilt, knowing that what he was doing, I mean, he was basically going out and partying every night, was something that that he felt guilty about, but still would continue to wake up in the morning and shake it off and then go out and do it again. He had this hedonistic basically lifestyle that was going for him. He wanted to be a knight and dreamt about being a knight, and that was what his goal was to be. And as we've learned, St. Francis is having some dreams that is requiring him to think, reflect, and perhaps change his behavior. And in fact, at some time, going out to a battle, decided to come back with his servant and said, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. And St. Francis decided to completely change the way he viewed things through a vision that he saw while praying to the San Damiano cross. And if you're ever at Viterbo campus, you'll see the San Damiano cross everywhere, because that is the symbol that St. Francis relates back to change his ways, to give up all, and to listen to the voices. And then in the cases that you were to do this week, or are to do this week in the discussions, it was relating how modern day businesses are listening to their voices, or should listen to their voices, which would be the marketplace. And that marketplace would tell them to change the way they're doing business. And I asked you to cite some examples like that, and that was the connection that we're trying to make, at least in this course, related to what was going on in the medieval times of St. Francis, and of course what's going on in modern day times, and how we can try to use some of that information to make sense of today. So again, the big picture view of this week is the beginning years of St. Francis, and how he started going from being a rich, spoiled, privileged young man in a very segregated time that was in warring factions with different villages, to someone who committed himself to poverty and to the 5 tenets of the way he wanted to live his life through a vision that he believed he saw, heard through the San Damiano cross while praying, of contemplation, hospitality, service, integrity, and stewardship. We will, moving forward in the next several weeks, focus on each one of those 5 Franciscan values and relate it to, again, some modern day contemporary issues.